I'm being used for something right now. Um, I don't even really know what it is. I'm gonna be honest, but I was having a conversation with my son, right? Because he was sad about the fact that I told him that he could have pizza, right? But as I was thinking about it, you know, I was like, actually, no, we don't need to do pizza just based off the fact that we both have been kind of having skin issues, right? And I thought about it. I've been being like very lenient, a little, not very, but a little lenient here and there, whatever. So as I'm talking to him, y'all, I kind of like zoned out of what I was saying. And then when I tapped back into it, I was like, wait a minute. And I had asked him, I was like, do you understand what mommy is saying? Or is mommy using too many big words? Of course, he said, no, you're using too many big words. So I just gave him a different analogy. He started to tune me out. My kids, they be tuning me out. But he was tuning me out or whatever. And so I just stopped talking, just like a man. So I had stopped talking. But as I was just sitting there pondering on the conversation that I had, I'm like, oh my goodness. This is literally how God probably feels about us. And anyone who knows me knows I'm not super religious at all. Spiritual, yes. Religious, no. So you could really just take it however it falls. So the analogy I gave him, right, was as your mom. I said mom, but you can insert it parent. It is my job to keep you safe, healthy, and happy, right? And as your mom, it is my job to make sure I'm not putting you in situations that will risk those things being compromised. You see what I'm saying? So although there may be times where I might bend the rules a little bit or go against my better judgment, I'll say that against my better judgment just to make you happy does not necessarily mean it was the right decision for you, for me to make. Does that make sense? And how it ties into God is the fact that we are God's children, right? And we can sit here all day long, just like how our children will. We will pout and we will cry and we will complain and we will beg about this thing that we want, this job that we want, this relationship that we want, or that we want to keep, or this place that we want, this car, whatever it may be, this money that we want. And God being our parent, having more knowledge, more wisdom. Well, not more, because, well, for God, yes, but physical parent, we kids learn things from our kids. But more knowledge, more wisdom, more foresight to even be able to see what is going to come once this thing that we want is in our possession, goes against that because we are just whining because we want it so bad, because he loves us so much. He wants to see us happy and he wants to appease us from time to time, and he bends against his better judgment to give us those things. And what ends up happening is we pay for it later on, some shape, form, or fashion. We pay for it later on. Versus if he would have just stood his ground, it could have really been alleviated. But sometimes we have to, just like we have to allow our children to feel the consequences of certain actions, he has to allow us the same as well. And that's where free will kind of comes into play, right? Because you can't protect us. He can't protect us from everything, just like we can't protect our children from everything. Then if we take it a step further, like I told my son, I've already compromised with you by letting you use this tablet, because I don't do tablets only on a weekday during the week, right? But I'm like, if you do your learning, you can go ahead and do the tablet, because I know you're bored. So go ahead, let it be learning. So now I'm letting you play the tablet. Now I'm saying yes, you can get pizza. So now I'm compromising on two things. So now when I say, okay, we're not going to get, My bad. My other baby was calling me before he got to school. But as I was saying, um yeah, so God would already have compromised against his better judgment to appease us, to make us happy. And then we would come and expect him, ask him for something else, and he knows it ain't right. You know, he knows that it's not for our good. And this time he doesn't bend. But us not knowing or realizing where he may have already compromised, now we're upset. It's cream cheese in my finger. But now we're upset that he's not bending again, and now we're pouting, now we're mad, now we're cursing him, now we want to pull away, and now we want to take our focus off of him, and things like that. Which, I'm gonna be real, as a parent, as a human parent, that shit infuriates the fuck out of me. Excuse my language. That shit infuriates me so bad, because even with my son, and just to give y'all an example of what I mean by asking him to compromise, trying to take an extra inch. You know what I'm saying? If you already know you're not supposed to be playing the video games during the week. I've already compromised and I'm letting you play it as long as you're watching learning. Why would you try to slide in and ask, can you play a video game? You're already not supposed to be using the tablet. And then now when I say no, you can't play the video game, you wanna and you wanna be sad, and you wanna do this, that, and the third. And I had to stop and ask him. I said, I feel like you at this point now you're trying to take advantage of me. Do you feel like that's what you're doing? Yes. Well, come on, that's a slap in the face. And maybe God feels the same way. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I was just pondering. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like that's really how God may feel. Like, bro, like I'm already giving. It's my job to protect you. If I haven't given you something right now, that means that it's not ready. That don't mean keep coming to me, crying to me, or like you still cry to me, but that don't mean guilt trip me into giving you what you want when I am. And the thing is, there may have already been signs and things to why it's not time for me to be gifted the thing that I'm praying for. But I'm so into my feelings where I'm not even seeing it. You see what I'm saying? And so yeah, that was just like a little thing that we were just talking. I was just like, dang, like, and I felt once I tapped back into it, I'm just like, this ain't no conversation to be having with a child, but it's a conversation to be having with somebody. So that's why I'm here, and that's why I brought it here. And like I said, I'm being used for something. My voice is being used for something. I don't know, but I'm gonna just keep talking until I don't feel, I guess, called to talk anymore. But yeah, if you haven't gotten it yet, it's not to say it's not coming. Or shoot, it may not never come because it ain't meant for you to have it. But really, it might just be something on the backside that God knows that he's trying to just protect you from overall. And that's why that blessing is not being handed. What you may feel is a blessing is not being handed to you at the time that you want it.